Going live now. Good afternoon, everyone. Stu Lees here from Potent Marketing, and I'm here with Glenn Edley, and we're talking about revitalizing your email marketing with, I don't know, possibly New Zealand, maybe the world's best email marketing consultant. And Glenn Edley and I have known each other for, a wee while, mate. 10 years?
Yeah, it would be 10 years. Yeah, it would be 10 years, Stu. Wow.
Yeah. And so he is one of these people who's stuck to his expertise lane forever, which is something I really respect, which is why I've invited him along here today. Glenn, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you based now? Tell us about your background. And I mean the background to your screen for the moment, because it always catches people out.
Oh, my back, yes, of course. So COVID, everyone has always told me for many years that I can work from home. Turns out I can from this home. So we moved here, and I moved the office home. It's in my workshop. It's quite large, so I get to have my car behind me, and there's actually another car over there as well, a little project. So yeah, I love it here, man. This is so cool. Like, I'm looking out the window across to the little farm across the side. We're out in Oratia. There'll be sheep and lambs and stuff over there. So yeah, that's where I am now. The team is spread around, and it works really, really well. Really creative space for me too.
Cool. And for the sake of the people who don't know you, how long have you been doing email marketing stuff?
Over 20 years. So I started in like 2001. I was introduced to it. And when I first saw it, it was like, wow. I actually had a business at the time, but I was doing car alarms and hands-free car kits. And so that was actually going really well. But I saw this and I was like, here is a way where a single person can stay top of mind with hundreds, if not thousands of people, and keep doing their normal daily stuff. So at the time, I was thinking real estate, right? And I was thinking, here's a way you stay top of mind, prompt and action, which in real estate, there's two things you need to do, which is list and sell. For marketing, there's two things you need to do: stay top of mind and prompt and action. And here was this amazing tool that that allowed you to do that, and direct, like one-to-one, like right into your mobile phone these days. I mean, it's an incredible thing.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get up to modern days and Stu's viewpoint on this soon as well. Hey, I'm just going to talk to. We've got a few people logged on already live, which is awesome. I want to direct people to comments. Feel free during the session to post comments. I'm going to manage questions. We'll let Glenn do his thing to make sure that he's nice and efficient. But if you want to say hi in the comments, say hi. If you want to say, if you've got a question or a problem that you want to solve, go for it. We won't be disrupting Glenn, but at the end we'll go through Q&A. And I guess bringing ourselves up to why I invited you on, social media has taken kind of all the marketing limelight of the last 5, if not 10 years for a lot of businesses, a lot of marketers, business owners. We're on it all day, right? We're on our phones all day. We're constantly drawn to checking them. And we have, I guess, been hammered with this. If you're not on social media, you're dead. And I remember when websites came out, if you don't have a website, an online presence, it's, your business won't survive. And so having used email marketing myself for years, having seen the benefits of it, and then hearing people bang on about social media for so many years, I really love how there's this massive opportunity on the market, right? There's a massive opportunity for email marketing, in my opinion, because, organic social is saturated on the major platforms. I think if you're maybe on TikTok or LinkedIn, you've got some organic space left. But if you're not got a really, really big game on Facebook and Instagram, it's going to be really hard to penetrate organically, which means you've got to pay. And here's this thing called email marketing, which over the years has been poorly executed, and a lot of people have given up on. So I guess my first question, if we get straight into it, mate, is, why email marketing in 2022? Why next year would it be smart for people? Let's say someone's like, I haven't even done it before, right? Or I've got 100 people, or we did it 3 years ago, we gave up on it because no one ever opened our stuff, So why would you encourage someone to even embark on email marketing?
Look, most people undervalue the result and underestimate the effort that has to go into good email marketing, right? And I think that's because they just make it hard for themselves. But also, like, it's a long play, like SEO. I mean, SEO is making a comeback as well. It's like all the things that actually work, like that really, really, really work, are coming back. And I think that the wasted attention I see on social is insane. I mean, business owners, I left this case study out, but dealing with a business owner, spending all this time on social, I asked her to spend that time building an email list. Her business has changed dramatically, and it changed dramatically in 3 weeks, and it just keeps going. And so this is a small business, by the way, who gets excited by 140 visitors to her website. So, she had none. And now, so, I think email marketing, like I said, staying top of mind and promptly in action when people are ready to buy, because people are not ready to buy when you want them to be most of the time. So you've just got to keep chipping away, be there. And do you know the other thing, Stu, that I think that right now there's a really amazing opportunity for small businesses to get personal, to sort out their About Us pages, stop trying to be something that you're not, stop trying to hide behind, whatever you're doing, put yourself out there. I feel that right now there's an opportunity for businesses to do the business more personally, because people, I don't know, there's something going on out there where people want to do business with people. And if you just have some generic About Us page, I think it makes them start thinking, oh, drop shipper, not in my country. So if there's a photo of you and your family and why you started this business, you are actually going to be winning. And that is a massive advantage over the big businesses.
Cool. And so what I love about email marketing as a delivery mechanism for that personalization that you talk about is that you can be one-to-one. You can send an email which is, hey, Glenn, and it's from Stu, not from newsletters but from Stu, the business owner of the company.
Yep.
Right. And for me, I love that, because you cannot do that in social. You can do it in a video, right? But you can't do it in an ad. You can't target people in an ad with their name. You can't, with all of these targeting metrics, your ability to carve content around a conversation which involves the person's name and their context, whatever's in your database, is really, really difficult. And I'll add to to another point. We've got this algorithm in front of us, right? We've got this filter in front of everything that we do in social, and email doesn't have it, right? Yeah, there's spam checkers and things like that, but there's very, very smart, simple, proven mechanisms to get around those, right? But getting around the algorithm, even when you're advertising, even in your own private group, is incredibly frustrating. And going back to that first point of yours, that return on investment of your time is very, very difficult to maintain and get value out of in social. So let's get into it, mate. I'm going to bring your slide deck up and add it to the screen right now. And we will go straight into the first section. So I'll just let you go, mate.
Awesome. Hey, look, so there's a bit to go through today, but just starting off, this is about revitalizing your email marketing. And I feel that there's a renaissance around these things, right? And I think that is the word. Things that work always work, and until they stop working. But the thing is that we've been doing this email marketing a long time now. People have always said it's the death of everything, and it's just not, because you just cannot beat that private one-to-one relationship. And you've got to think about it like that too. It's not just one-to-many. They're not faceless people. They are people with names. And, if you write like that, you'll kick ass. So I think the outcome of today, oh gosh, not quite video. That's going to be the next workshop. Stu, we missed that. That's the next workshop. So today, revitalize your email marketing and wean yourself off social. So look, I'm Glenn from Spike. Now, I have been on a mission, and I'm still on the same mission, is to help businesses win with email marketing. And I believe that the value of your business is in your customer database. Email is still the most effective and measurable way to unlock that potential. We've been in business since August 2004. I'm a Mailchimp Power Partner. And, here's why people say that you should listen to me. I'm the chosen email marketing guy for the Digital Boost series, which if you're a small business, I recommend it. It's very, very good. There's some amazing people on there giving away their best stuff for free. So Digital Boost. I was one of two external people to Mailchimp for the Mailchimp Masterclass. You'll see that I've circled Ben Chestnut there. He's one of the founders of Mailchimp, and they just sold for 12 billion US. So I've met him personally. Very good guy. And then the other thing is we've been around for a long time at Spike, and I've been doing it for 20 years. And just a funny thing, I didn't know this until recently, but if you go into the experts directory in Mailchimp, so Mailchimp.com/expert directory, I think it is. For some reason, they've put my photo up there. So there's Gary, he's from Australia on the left, me in the middle, and Emily on the right. So I was quite chuffed to see that. Anyway, so moving on. So what we're going to cover today, why email marketing? Your sign-up form probably sucks. Let's fix it today. Thank you pages, we're going to touch on those, and upgrading your welcome series. So why email marketing? Here's my top 4 reasons. The value of your business, like I said, is in your customers. It's a lot easier to sell to an existing customer. I mean, that is just a business truth, right? It's just so much easier, 7 times, 10 times, whatever it is. If you've already got a customer, so much easier to sell to them. You make the rules. And this is something that's very underlooked. I was on a call earlier today, and I was talking to a young guy who's starting a business, and he's building he's got a podcast, he's building a channel, but he's actually doing it through his sponsor. He's a professional sports person. And so, what we're discussing today is like moving him to being able to create an email list. He's getting his own website built, but where he makes the rules. If you're building your business on Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube, even LinkedIn, like in some respects, right? You are building it on somebody else's platform where they make the rules. With email marketing and that direct, you make the rules. Right? You make the rules. You set the rules of engagement even. So you've got permission to talk to someone. If they've signed up, you've got permission, right? And it's easy to get started, and you're always going to be sending the right message to the people who want to hear from you. And the reason is that they signed up to hear from you. So we're going to get into, sign up forms, but that is definitely part of it, right? Now, email marketing for small businesses. You need to gather as much information as you can. This is not the idea of big data, okay? This is just really useful information that is going to generate sales for you. And you need to get as much as you can. You need to collect that data at every touch point. So in a small business, to me, every touch point could be the phone. It's going to be definitely going to be your website, social, wherever you are. You need to be using that as a marketing opportunity to get people's email addresses. And the question to ask them is, or the statement to say is, hey, we do this really cool thing, right? Send an email once a week or whatever. Have you got an email address I can send that to? Most people say yes. And there are ways that you can do that online as well.
I'm gonna dive in there right now. I get asked weekly,
yeah,
why is no one buying from my social media, right? And when we go through and look at people's social media and we look at what they're asking for, they're asking, come and purchase from me, come and have a one-on-one session with me. And the number one response that I say to people when looking at that strategy in their customer journey is stop asking for a sale and start giving them something in exchange for their email address.
Absolutely, right? Mate.
It's the simplest thing which revolutionizes so many people's business. So keep going.
Yeah. So take time to build a strategy for your email marketing plan. I think too many people just just launch out an email. You need to put a little bit of thought into it. We're going to go through that. And then know your audience. On your website,
that email.
Yeah, have you thought, think about the individual you're emailing to, right? Like you'll have a customer. I'm gonna use a word that anyway, customer avatar, right? Because there's a lot of connotations in the marketing world about that, but it is an avatar at the end of the day. It's the person, the individual. And you know what? In small businesses, you've generally talked to them on the phone, right? So you know who they are. Picture that person in your head. Okay, so the next thing is test. People just aren't testing enough, right? Because one of the reasons is because they haven't planned, and so their emails take too long to build and too long to get the content for, right? You've got to make it really simple for yourself, and then you can test a lot. So here's one that might annoy some people, but social doesn't sell well. Now, these are real stats, right, off one of my clients, okay? It's an e-commerce client. He has doubled his business. In fact, it keeps growing. I think we're on track to even double it again this year. Like, it's huge. Anyway, so what I'm looking at here is how much revenue per user, right? So you can see the blue thing is users and then how much revenue. So paid search is always really high per user, right? It's very good because that's quite an action. Organic search, yep, generally does pretty well. You can see I did this over a short period of time just to give us an average. And then you'll see direct, that's people coming straight to the website, generally return people. It's pretty good as well, $4.47. Social is $4.24. So just think about that. For every user, he's getting $4.24, right? Now, this is actually a good month, right? In some respects, usually it's sitting below $2. But I thought I'd be generous. Email is sitting at $13.11. That's not the highest it's been either. But I just want you to note that is quite a massive difference. It's 3 times more, right? And yet you're spending probably 3 times or 10 times more time on social, building likes, getting all that stuff. The money is in your email database, right? 3 times more at least. This guy gets $18.75 plus for every dollar he spends with us. So it's a great return on investment. So next thing up, your sign up form probably sucks. So let's fix it. So 2 questions to ask yourself here is, what does my audience expect? When they've come to your website, what are they expecting now, right? And then why do I want them to sign up? Because, if you've got nothing to send to them or nothing to say, which I highly doubt, but you just be specific, why? Well, generally you want to get more money from them, right? You want to sell them once, twice, 3 times. You want to keep selling to them. So that's why. So you've got to, but just think about why. Why do I want to sign up? Because it does depend on your business, right? If you're a service business, this might be a different, it will be different to a product selling business, okay? So, but here's the kicker. Your content starts here. So these sign up forms here, there's a range of them, right? But subscribe to get $5 off your first order over $50. Instead of using a percentage off, which is very hard for people to calculate in their heads, just get very specific with a dollar amount. Made.com. Massive company. Like they just used to have a certain amount off, $10 off or something, your first order. Brooklinen, same kind of thing, right? Like these are massive, like $100 million plus, US businesses or so, online businesses that have just grown and grown, and they've actually kept the same incentive to sign up. Mocha in New Zealand, they had this was it $250 like every time, right? Man, that has stayed there the same. Briscoe's the same thing. You need to know your numbers for a start, but having a specific dollar amount off will work better than a percentage every time. Okay, so that is actually a very good subscribe and get. We've actually tweaked that a bit to tell the story a bit more in different places. But I actually like this one, the one in the middle. Join my mailing list. Once a month, I share my best insights, learnings, and reading and listening recommendations. So I want you to note something there. One, he's told you the frequency. So once a month, right? Two, he's told you the content of that, right? Now, the thing about that is that instantly he knows, this is Josh Comrie, he knows like, oh yeah, I need to put together a newsletter once a month, and here's what I'm going to write about. So he's instantly made the content a lot easier to think about, because he doesn't have to, what am I sending this month? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to look for my best insights, learnings, and reading and learning recommendations. Boom. Like that's very simple, but it's also simple for someone to get, right? Now for the Spike one, if you want weekly thoughts and opinions to kickstart your thinking and tips to help you market smarter and send better email, enter your email address below. So weekly thoughts about kickstarting your thinking, which is my Monday motivator, and then tips about marketing smarter. We don't really have to think too hard, right, about what we're doing there. So this is why sign-up forms generally suck, because they say, subscribe to my newsletter. Why? Like, there's nothing there. You need to, if you can figure out, or if you can come up with a why, a really good one, why they should sign, it'll actually make the rest of this a lot simpler. So it leads to here, right? We've got some welcome emails. So we're going to go through these a bit later, but go sign up into your welcome, and then to here, which is actually like your emails that you're sending out. So all of that starts from what they're signing up for. Boom, 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 right? You've got to keep this stuff simple. And then like we're going to get into a bit of planning. So planning to me is having a schedule that you can stick to. 1 second. There we go. Interesting. Sorry about that. That was a technical difficulty based on my keyboard. Wasn't clicking to the next thing. So having a schedule you can stick to, then sticking to it, and every industry is different. So think about what's going to work for you, but that is planning. It's really simple, right? I'm all about, like the KISS method, I'm all about it, right? Because I only have so much attention and I only have so much time. So I have to make things really simple for myself and for my clients. Otherwise, it's very hard to scale. So like when you have a plan, like a really simple plan like this in Excel, you can actually fill out well ahead. So for this particular email, for example, you can see we've got the date we're going to send it. It's monthly, as you can see. We've got an intro. So what are we going to write about? Which is like, this is what's going on. We've got a question, which is one that's been answered recently. This is for specifically for an accounting business. Then we've got like, did you know? So some relevant business growth tip or tax change notice. And then people, like we're introducing it. So, and then we're talking about how we can share it around and different links. This is a very simple plan, but what it looks like in the email is really simple, right? It's like, hi there, got the intro, got the next thing. Like all of this just leads into the next thing. Like I'm not going to say it enough times, but keep things simple. But then like you can get a bit deeper, and like this is a plan like for a month. But still starting here, and then you can like, okay, I'm going to write about this, right? And then you can go even deeper if you want to and really like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I'm going to write about. So, what it looks like in practice, for an e-commerce business, for example, is 4 emails a week, and we've got like our Manic Monday, which goes out to just VIP members, customers, and then we've got a resend of that because those deals only last 48 hours. And then we've got a couple more that we send during the week as well. And that's all done off that spreadsheet. So look, content can be really easy. So here's a quick tip for you. Day 4 is when you're going to schedule your email to go out. So 3 days before day 1, write down those ideas, offers, whatever, put it aside. Day 2, get into the detail, spend another 10 or 15 minutes on it. Day 3, build it, send it off, test it, schedule it. Day 4, it goes out. I like to put these things out there just to prompt people that, like, if you're like me, sometimes you just can't knuckle down and just write something all at once. But if you have a starter, then it's a lot easier to do. So remember, your content starts here on these sign-up forms, right? And that's why you need to really work on these and tweak them, test them, see which one gets you the most sign-ups, right? Your pop-up, same thing. Like, just try it for a month. Try a line. Try the next line. What happened? Oh, that one dropped or that one picked up. This is a long game, right? We're in business for a long time. So keep these points in mind. Clear calls to action. Short sentences and paragraphs. White space. Think about white space because you've got to make it easy to read. Adding hyperlinks into your copy works really, really well because thanks to Google, we are trained to click blue underlined links. Text formatting, just think about, what it looks like, how it's laid out, bold, like I've got here. Making sure you use web safe fonts because if you don't, you're going to have to create an image, and that's a whole other workshop. But text is definitely it's going to win over images.
Glenn, this is in the email itself, not the sign-up form, correct?
Sorry, yes, this is in the email itself. Yep, thank you. So, good point. Although, clear calls to action, short sentence and paragraph, I think those things at the beginning, they do actually apply to the sign-up form.
Of course.
Yep. But look, thinking about on your website as well, just minimum font sizes in your emails as well. Just think about the people who are reading it. And I just see too many emails where the designer, because designers, a lot of them really like tiny copy, tiny fonts because they look pretty, but they don't sell. There's a point where pretty has stopped selling, and it's very hard for me to read. So you can't have that. So thank you pages. This is just a short one. So thank you pages. The key points around thank you pages.
Wait. Before we go into this, what is a thank you page?
Oh, that's a good point. I should have added that in. So a thank you page is confirming the action that they've just taken. So they've signed up for a newsletter, right? They've signed up for something. Now I like to take people to a thank you page. And the reason I like doing that is because I've got their attention, and I can also help them with, and I'll touch on this in a sec, but this is the difference between single and double opt-in. Because sometimes on those little sign-up forms, you actually don't see that you've subscribed, right? It's just a little pop-up, oh, thanks for doing. But what I think is that you have got that person's attention, they're signing up, let's take them to a page and tell them what to do next. So, for example, if you sign up for one of our workshops, for example, that we were running, here's what we need to do. So thank you and next steps. So we actually spell out what you need to do, right?
Nice.
And then if you're signing up for the Monday Motivator, here's what to do. Every Monday we're going to do this. Well, you'll find it, and then you'll find an email from me, open it, hit that confirm link, and if you don't see it, please check your spam or promotions folder. The reason we're asking for that, and Stu and I had a discussion about this tomorrow, is about inbox placement, right? Inbox versus promotion. And I think there are some tweaks there, but the difference between someone doing this and someone not it definitely, I think it does make a difference. It's a slight difference, but if you don't have a welcome series, this is really important, right? So we're going to talk about welcome series. But if you get someone to respond to an email, and I think in Gmail, it automatically adds it to your contacts. And
Yes.
so their email, when they send it to you, is more likely to end in the inbox. And you've got their attention, right? So let's engage with them. And then you're more likely to end up in the inbox, right? So
100% that's a pro tip in my opinion, because, and it's not done often enough, this thank you page stuff. And
yeah,
the
I agree.
instructions on what to do, right? They're so crucial, because you're paying money and time to get people to go to your website from your social or wherever it is and to subscribe.
Yeah.
And so this is just holding their hand so that you arrive in their inbox.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's virtually free effort, right? It's a little bit of extra time on your sign-up page, on your thank you page.
Yeah.
Which could double the number of people who see your emails. It's crucial.
From an SEO point of view too, they're spending more time on your website. So why wouldn't you build one? You know?
Absolutely.
There's all that stuff too, right? Like, anyway. But look, like really nice personal thank yous as well. Like, you know, they were booking a call in this instance. So there's like me sitting at my table going, you know, hi, thanks. See you for our coffee, right? And this worked really well. Like, just think about this stuff, right? Because they're going to talk to a person. So why would you hide? Unless, even if it's a photo of the team here, whatever, right? But, you know, think about this. So, look, we're going to get into the upgrading your welcome series now, and I think this is quite.
I'm going to pause you. I'm going to pause you, Glenn. I've got a couple of questions on this, because I think that area that you talked about is really, we've got a little bit of time, and I think it's really crucial, because
as long as you think we've
I want to dive into your wisdom and experience.
Okay.
Because you've worked with large retailers, you've worked with small businesses, you've worked with service providers, real estate, all of these different industries, right?
Yep.
And I have this perception that email marketing has been an afterthought of even very large businesses, right? You go to the counter, like, are you on our mailing list? I'm like, well, why would I want to be on your mailing list? Because they haven't been instructed to give value.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what am I going to get? Well, you're going to get special offers. Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. It's not specific enough. You know, I know this guy, Glenn, he told me, you got to be specific. Where's my $5? Where's my $10 voucher? Right. Yeah. So I think I have a sense that over the years, email marketing has been an afterthought. Yep. And then the sign-up processes, which is Glenn's just been so careful to show. The sign-up process is a process in the conversation. So you spend all this money getting them there.
Yep.
Right. So you've got to make sure that you care for them along the way to make sure they complete the process, because you've spent money to get them there. So have you seen? I'd love to just delve in a couple of questions. You know, what are people doing wrong in their sign-up pages? What are people doing wrong in their, you know, in that process that's stopping? What things have you had to fix in the past?
So that's funny. I actually left out those. I wanted to be very positive about this, the whole thing positive. Right?
No, come on. Because people might see it in their own, they might see these things in their own space and go, okay, I can fix that, right?
Yeah. So my biggest bugbear is when people sign up and they are using Mailchimp. And I'm going to just touch on Mailchimp here, because people go, oh, you only talk about Mailchimp. And it's like, well, here's the thing. I've had 2 conversations this week with people who have got 2 different platforms. One of them I've never heard of, right? And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. And the thing about it is that no one can help them, or it's going to cost a lot of money from whoever set up their website or whatever to fix the issue. And this is why I'm promoting Mailchimp more and more and more and more. You can get anything done on Mailchimp, on Fiverr, Upwork, you know, whatever, for so much cheaper, because there's so many more people and experts who can help you. And I just think, like, why would you set yourself up for failure or for like just a problem down the line when it's like, oh, no one knows what that thing is? And I just see way too many website developers using things that look cool, but they've actually set their their client up for failure, right? Because no one can look after that thing. So that's why I promote Mailchimp, because anyone can fix it, right? So and you might grow out of Mailchimp at some stage, and you probably will. But the thing about it is like in the meantime, like make life simple. So back to what's that got to do with sign up forms? So many Mailchimp sign up forms are not formatted. They're not embedded. They're just like someone has not done a very good job of setting them up for whoever, right? And so they're just missing a trick because it's so clunky. Like they open up in a new window. They ask you, are you a robot? Like all of these things that can be taken care of very simply by getting it set up properly in the first place. Like that is my biggest thing. Like you need to keep people on your website. So the thank you page should be /thank you. Like everything should be on your website. Like too often people have sign up forms that open up a new tab or just go somewhere totally different. And then the other thing is that instead of going back to their website when they've confirmed it, they'll go off to the standard, generic thing. And that could be any platform, right? And so by taking a bit of time, by sorting out your sign up form and your sign up process, you're just giving your customer like such a better experience. It's just any hurdles in their mind are just lower. So like to me, this, and you're like, to me, email marketing, and this one corporate especially is around, they haven't changed their email marketing, but because of that, because they just don't care. So they just tick a box. But in actual fact, they're missing out on probably, quite a bit of revenue there if they actually sorted it out. And this is like a big retailer in the country. And Pete Barnett would know who that is. And so, but the thing is that they just don't care. And so I feel like sometimes you really need to just look at that sign up form, think about the next step and the next step and the next step, and just write down what you want that to be, what your ultimate one is, and then find someone who can help you. And if you get, this is why Mailchimp, right? Because you just go into the experts directory and they'll help you out. It's all about just lowering hurdles. Anyway, I think, is that enough on that? Because honestly, sign up forms to me, honestly, are the start of everything about your business and about, the engagement with the customer. And you've, like you said, you've spent all this money, they're on your website, they've signed up for your newsletter. Like you need to make that process as smooth as possible.
100%, and make them feel valuable.
Yeah. So look, in fact, that's a great segue into the welcome series. So I'll dive off into that now.
And what is a welcome series?
So a welcome series is exactly what it says on the box. You've said thank you to them. So thank you for signing up. And that is part of a welcome series. But there's actually more to it than that, right? And so I'm going to dive into this now because Brooke Linen, for example, has one of the best welcome series on the planet, bar none. So look, this is how it works. You get your acquisition through from, YouTube. Man, YouTube, huge. Not enough people using YouTube. Very cheap traffic. So YouTube, Google, paid ads, all that stuff, search SEO. And then Facebook, Instagram. Like, to me, that's tactically where you should be using social, right? Is getting people through to your website. So they come through to your website. There's a pop-up form or a sign-up form. That then goes into Mailchimp. That sends them an email. And then we start, so that's the one, say, we'll call it the thank you email. And then the next couple of emails after that, we'll consider the welcome series, right? So in this welcome series, we might, so it's going to start from that embedded form, right? And we're going to give them an incentive. And so, they're going to get that email. It's, hi, welcome, thanks for joining, whatever. Here's your $10 off. Here's your whatever incentive you gave them for that to get their first purchase. Because what you're trying to do here I believe, in my opinion, is try to get them to their first purchase sooner, because generally, people don't buy the first time they come to their website, but they'll sign up, and they'll sign up, one, to get the incentive, and two, just so that you stay top of mind. Like, they want to remember you because they're interested in what you've got, but they're not ready to buy now. And this is where so many businesses fail with their email marketing, is that they don't think about this part where we're using it, the sign up form, as a bookmark to come back to later. So it's actually almost criminal if you don't email market, like if you don't use your list. But it is criminal because someone signed up for two reasons. One, to get the incentive and buy now, and two, bookmark you for the future. It's why we have watch lists and all that stuff. This is the email marketing version of a watch list, right? Is just signing up for the newsletter. So in that welcome, though, that first email, we're going to have the offer. We're going to have a call to action. We might even have some product recommendations, right? And the next one, we're going to welcome customers to the business with a personal message from you. And this is where the about us, that personal thing, is really good. But here's where you can just say, hi, this is who we are. Nice, thanks for getting on board. Keep it simple, but just a nice personal message might come out 24 hours after the initial one. Next one, hey, we sell to these kind of people, like, is this you? So like for Brooklinen, could be a survey about what the current sheets you're using on your bed, and some questions that could get them better offers. And this email is going to link to a customer preference form, and they're going to fill them out, right? And it's like, and the content of that should be why they should give us more information, right? And then a link to the form. Pretty simple though, right? So the full story is like, here's what you could do. You could do your welcome or thank you. Then you can do the personal welcome. And then you can do, hey, let's tell us about yourself. So gathering data. And then we're going to tell you our story. So here's our full story. Here's why we do this, right? So the personal welcome is just, hi, hey, nice to meet you. And then tell us about yourself. And then the full Monty, right? And here's everything. And then here's everything you need to know about how we do business. What's going to happen when. Like, that could be the next one. And then after that, what's next? Just talking about different things that could go on. And then you've got customer reviews, just in case they haven't bought yet. So that's like a whole welcome series. It's 7 emails, right?
So it's 7 emails. And if it was, say, e-commerce as an example, because you've used those as examples.
Yep.
How would you stage the 7 emails? Would the 7 emails be over 1 week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks? What would be your gut feel? And I know it's different for every brand and customer base, but
I would run these. I'd be running the first couple over, like the first 3, probably, or 4 over a week, and then the rest over another week or so.
Just drip feed the rest.
Yeah, just drip feed them out.
I've got. There's a question that's on the. I know it's on the. There'll be a couple of e-commerce people out there who will be looking at giving away $10, giving away $10 credit. And I just want to throw some maths into the pool here, because I've worked specifically with a $10 offer for a very, very large toy retailer who monetized it this way. They did the $10 offer, which was right, which was essentially a voucher code.
Yep.
Right. They, in their welcome sequence, they sent them the $10 offer voucher code. Right. Here's your voucher code. Here's 5 products that you might want to use this voucher code on.
Yep.
And every one of the products was $25, right? Or thereabouts. And what they knew was that their gross margin was roughly 50% and their freight was roughly $5. Yep. So they were losing nothing in the $10. They were just doing margin-free sales.
Yep.
But what they were doing was they're getting the credit card behavior out, that they were giving the customer the experience of delivery, because they prided themselves on fast delivery and streamlined delivery. They always knew on the first order to throw in an extra gift, right? So these guys were e-commerce masters, because everyone got a delight. and the customer spent $15.
Yep.
Right, and they basically just got a highly discounted product delivered to them. But their conversion rate on that first email was insane because they got the $10, right? So, and they're just taking them. So, I love.
What did they do next? The thing
they
is,
didn't do the personal welcome. They didn't tell anyone about this. I mean, I would have loved if they were like, here's a picture of Fred. Fred does all the picking and packing in our Manukau warehouse, right? And and every day he puts a new pair of gloves on, or whatever, right? I would have loved if they had done that, but they were big retailer mentality, and it was just like, nah. Once we've got them in there, then they're just going to get the catalog sales every month, which was tragic, but it was.
That is tragic. I'm aware of time, so I'm going to crack on. But here's some examples of welcome emails and the timing around them. So, thanks for subscribing. That comes out immediately. And then the next one there actually comes out 24 hours later, which is what you were talking about, which was like, here's some products to choose from, and we would populate the best sellers there. So that's kind of what you're talking about, right? They have a very good welcome series. They have like 40% off. Like it's insane.
Wow.
Here's some other examples as well. So we've got like, Brooklyn and, we're so happy you're here. And they've got a few products down the bottom. And then we've got Byte. I think their one's very good as well. Your smile is 1 in a billion and they tell you all about it. Mailchimp sends you a nice little email when you get started. I think this is very cool. I think Mailchimp graphics are very good. I think they're they take graphics and that to another level. They've got some amazing artists working for them. And then like on the last one there with AppSumo, this is pretty cool. Something huge just happened. You're never paying full price for software again. This is cool, right? Like it just. No buyer's remorse there for signing up, right? None at all. You've got to think about that. And by the way, there's so many options for this. Like it's just, so many. So anyway, that was that. So we had some bonus tips where I was going to lock into now. Shall we get into those?
Mate, before we do, because I know some people will be wanting to get on with things, I want to ask, how do people work with you if they want to take some of this advice and work with you or your team, if they want to get some further training? I want to make sure people get an opportunity to get your details. How does it work?
So I think I just put this in here earlier, but I think the best step after today is I love talking to people, right? So I'd like to get people to book a one-to-one call with me. It's a 20-minute call, and let's answer like the biggest issue or email marketing problem you're facing right now. So if you just go to bit.ly/Glenn-1-1, and when Stu sends us out, I'm sure we'll put the link in. And connect with me on LinkedIn too, and we can set up a call from there as well. I'm pretty easy to find. I think that's the best way, Stu. Book a call.
Cool. I just tried to put that into the notes, and if it doesn't work for people, I'll fix it after the session. But yeah, good on you, mate. Let's move forward.
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to race through these because they are bonus tips.
Yeah. Cool.
But I think make a plan. Like if you're leaving with anything today, make a plan. Use every touch point. This is something we did for Sanyong at Field Days. We had, and at Field Days, you can imagine the setup, right? Like tents, they had a big lunch bar. We printed pads on entry forms. We had boxes with pens and pads on every table. We got people to enter there. We had the autoresponder emails coming out to them. We had stickers on things, getting people to enter into the boxes. We had the sales guys using iPads to take details off people. And then in the background, we actually had a live tracking doc, right? And that was competition. We actually were running a competition in the background to see who signed up the most people. I've done that at the warehouse group as well for different businesses in there. It works really, really well when you've got teams of people competing against each other. Compliance, not complaints. This act has been around since 2007 now, and SMEs are still the worst spammers in the country. So be very careful about this, right? Be clear what you're giving people in return for their details. So that's the sign-up form. And it'll get those emails into the inbox, and make sure that your unsubscribe works, right? Test it. Look, I'm just going to race through these, but just as a quick case study, one of our clients, Equip Outdoors, equipoutdoors.co.nz, best camping gear place in the country because it's the right gear, right price, is that without an email strategy in place, really, people just didn't know. I've known this guy for quite a while, and so we did the old ad hoc thing, and customers were just they just didn't know what was in stock or which promotions were running, right? It was pretty loose. So basically what saved the day is that we actually came in with a plan, and then we worked with the other agencies, so with SEO and with the paid and everything. But the first thing we did was put a plan in place. We got the sign up forms going, welcome emails, and a retention plan as well, right? So that when someone hasn't opened an email for a while or engaged, we actually have a plan in place where some emails and incentives start going off to re-engage those people, or we move them into a different segment. So the difference is that in 2019 he sent 27 emails, right? And in 2020 to this year he sent 152, and he doubled his business. And that's during COVID. He doubled his business with delivery things. It was insane. He makes $18.75 or so for every dollar he spends with us. So that business is cranking, and that was the key difference, was actually just putting a plan in place, a customer communication plan, and just sticking to it, right? It's not even fancy. I showed it to you earlier. It's very simple, 4 emails a week.
Look, so I love how you keep bringing things back down to cost per customer, revenue per customer. And, and this is the difference, in my opinion, about, you being a world-class email marketer and people who know how to do email marketing, right? Is that the picture around email marketing does not escape you. You know that there's no point in doing email marketing unless you understand the value of the customer, the cost of acquisition of the customer, and what you can bring to it, right? Because you're putting a benchmark in which to improve on. Yeah. And if I take anything away from this, I look at it for my email marketing, I'm not doing that, right? I know email marketing is working incredibly well for me. I know it's working incredibly well for a bunch of my clients, but the discipline of wrapping the numbers around the front and the back of that process is outstanding.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I've got these mistakes up here. These are the ones we see the most, right? Lists not properly segmented, and it's really not that hard. There's no pre-header text. People using the standard Mailchimp account. One of the worst things one of the biggest mistakes, let's call it the biggest mistake, is people not paying for Mailchimp. You just miss out on so many things. And it's because they're not calculating the return on investment. They don't know their numbers. And so if you knew your numbers, then paying for it's part of your marketing budget, right? But they don't look at it like that. Most businesses look at things like email marketing purely from a cost point of view, and the fact that they need to sell $10,000 worth of stuff to spend $2,000 on marketing. Doesn't quite work out like that, right? It's usually well above, that kind of return on investment. As soon as you know your numbers, it does change a lot. So frequency of campaigns, too high or too low. That to me, there is actually a too high. But most of the time, 95%, probably 90% of the time, it's actually too low, because people are I don't want to annoy anyone. Oh, so you don't want to make money. Oh, interesting. Why are you in business?
So what is it that annoys people then? I think this is a really crucial question, right? I don't want to be a spam. I don't want to spam people. I don't want to annoy people. So if it's not frequency, what is it?
I actually think it's just people, the businesses ticking a box and sending rubbish. and not doing what they said they were going to do. They said, like, if you are consistent, like people will just delete your email. They won't unsubscribe, right? And so you need to, the only reason I think people get annoyed is because they forget what they signed up to. And also, like, they conflate business emails with marketing emails, right? They conflate, like, they put everything together in their inbox, and it's actually because they're just really inefficient, or that whatever they're doing in their inbox isn't effective. And so they just think, oh, I've got so many emails in my inbox, and it's like, oh, okay, why don't you just sort that out? Like, why don't you go into sanebox.com, sign up for it, and that'll sort that out for you. Like, and
I'm totally with you on it, mate. I've got a different spin on this, though. Right?
Okay.
Why do people get annoyed? So I think it's human behavior. So why do you get annoyed with anyone? And my favorite analogy is, we've all had that friend in our life, if we're grown-ups, who the only time they ever picked up the phone to call you is when they wanted something.
Yes.
And when the phone call came through, you would thank God caller ID came through, because you could look at that person's call and you could go, I'm just going to put the phone down and I'm going to get on with my dinner or whatever. And email marketing behavior is the same. If you're only sending out our specials or a little bit about me, right? Rather than reaching out going, how can we help you? How can we serve you? What can we do for you? How can we do things better? Or what's going on in your world? Here's what's going on in one of our clients' world. He's awesome. He's off in the outdoors, with one of our new tents. But where the tone and where the conversation is about something that is interesting to me.
Yep.
I'm going to want to keep taking their phone calls.
You are. Hey, right. Do you know what? I'm just going to say here, because there's probably a lot of people thinking, oh, you can't do that for e-commerce. Yes, you can. What you do is you write really nice intros, and you tell people what's in the email. And like, if you do that, which is what the camping guy does, we write really cool things in the intros. Sometimes, like, we get a bit stuck and we're not sure what to write. But by writing a really nice intro, we're kind of adding something to someone's life. And so, you don't just have an email full of deals. You actually write why these deals are useful. Here's why we think this is useful for you. And you write it, and then, because then it gives you a reason to send that email as well, right? And like, you can do that daily if you plan ahead. If you plan ahead, you'd be surprised at how many emails you can send. Like, we had a big national retailer. We would send up to 45 emails a month for them, right? But they didn't go to the same people, because we had business rules where someone would only get a set amount of emails every week. But that's how many emails we were sending. And there was a lot of planning that went into that. And all of those had really cool intros, and because we thought about it. The other thing is, here's a really big tip. I know you've all read these things now. But the thing about it is that, like, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh gosh, that was something. It'll come back to me. But like, I should have written it down. Oh look, I'll flick through this case study.
Okay.
So this was a car dealership. It was a new car that was coming out. What we did here is we sent out an email to the whole database. Then we sent another one, who's interested. Then we got the people that were really interested, and we segmented them out. And then we invited those people to a launch night. Then we got them to RSVP, and then we sent them a DM. Like, you won't believe this, mate, but we sent, and I know you like this like I do, we sent them something in the mail. And what we did is we put their name on the number plate of the vehicle, right? So on the night, instead of like the usual hundreds of people turning up or for like the free drinks and nibbles, we had 130 people turn up. We sold 6 cars on the night, 3 later that week, directly attributed. We actually sold out of these cars, right? So all up, like, I know it was over $2.1 million of vehicles sold that we could kind of attribute, we could, but like actually off the event, we sold $1.4 million of vehicles. So the campaign cost like $1,500. Like it was so cheap. Like you've got. I love email marketing because it's like you can tie it in with social. You can tie it in with direct mail. Like it's such a useful tool, right?
The beauty of that campaign that you showed there was that you gave them an event, which was an experience they saw value in participating with the event and the experience, not just here's a special buyout thing, right?
Yeah, it was so cool.
To understand that they wanted an experience first, and they might be in the market for the purchase, but they needed a little bit more in the journey. I love that.
So the great thing was though is that instead of having to budget for hundreds of people, which is hard to do and to know who's to turn up. I mean, we sent a text on the day as well, right? Hey, we're looking forward to seeing you tonight, because we wanted to make sure that we had catered for the right amount of people. So we actually saved a lot of money that we could spend on other things by actually like verifying that we had actual buyers turning up. Because we don't want everyone to turn up. It's like the neighbors who come over to the house auction. We don't really want them there. We just want the buyers, right? Like everyone else is a spectator. We don't want spectators. We want buyers. So it's thinking about getting. I talk about building buyers, not just lists. Building lists of buyers, not just lists. So all starts at the sign-up form. Hey, here's a quick tip. If you have a business like a service industry, professional services, think about using what I call the power of the BCC. So not the force, but use the power of the BCC. So the power of the BCC is that is answering questions every day. So using the questions you answer every day as content for your emails and also for your website, right? FAQs, whatever. So in a service business, for example, accountants, they're answering questions every single day. So what we do is we get them to BCC that into an email account like newsletters or something that we can log into. And then because they've written a beautiful answer off to their customer or their client, then what we do is we just go in there and sometimes we just have to grammatically check it or whatever. But like suddenly you've just got piles of content, right? And if you do it, if you make that a thing in your business, like you'd be surprised how quickly you got to get into the habit though.
I'm just thinking law firms where there's partners doing stuff like that and there's a marketing person in the middle, or accounting firms or any professional services where they're constantly fielding questions.
Yeah.
And then they're replying to a customer with a detailed answer.
Yep. Because it's what's interesting now. It's what's interesting now. It's what's top of mind now too, right? It's what people are. So like those are the things that that if you put that in your newsletter that month, it's going to work. So here's what I'd forgotten to talk about, and it comes back to I'm going to flick through that, but it's coming back to like being consistent as well, right? And I think like to be consistent, if you've been sending emails, like we don't really work. Yes, we'll work with people who are starting out, right? But I like to work with people who have been sending emails for a couple of years. And the reason is I can go back and see what worked last year, because I know that what worked in November last year is going to work in November this year. It's all about cranking the handle. This is what the big businesses do, right? They crank the handle. It's the same promotions kind of every year, but with they look a bit different, but it's the same thing. Back to school.
I use a different spin on that. I encourage every one of my clients to do a weekly retrospective social media review, right? Which is 5 minutes. Spend 5 minutes in your LinkedIn or in your Facebook or whatever, scroll through engagement levels. What got people's attention and made them comment? What did you ask that they responded to? What got most likes and reach?
Yep.
Often there's a gold mine, so it's another way of getting ROI from all of this toiling and time you spend in social, is because what your humans in social media respond to could make for a great email. So you might invest a little. You might be doing like little post, like not a lot of time. One of them blows up. You go, great. That's a topic that at the end of the month I'm going to talk about in depth. I'm going to really serve the audience with thorough, well thought out, beautiful answers. to that, because I've already proven that that's something that people are interested in. Or flipping it around, take what's successful in your email and then push it to social, and God forbid even sponsor it in social, because you've got proven ROI on at least the subject line or the title that's gonna, that people like it. So I love that point. And
so
discipline's crucial.
I'll tell you what, personalization, right? Like, you don't have to get too carried away about personalization, but I think, like, it just their name or whatever. But I think, like, personalization is like, that's what people think. It's like, yes, the business that gets me. It's not some big recommendation engine either. It's not like, because Amazon gets it wrong all the time, unless you mark, that baby thing you just bought as a gift. So the thing about it is that personalization can actually just be you writing a personal thing. And I reckon that I believe this, like, right now there's an opportunity, like I said earlier, get personal. People want to buy from people, especially now, and they want to have a relationship with you, and they want to see you, and they want to know who they're buying from. And with that, you can beat the big players, because they can't do that. They're faceless, right? So you don't need to be faceless. You can be you. And, like, before we had websites, we all had just stores, right? So it had to be you. But, like, think about that. People have gone away from the idea that a website is an online store. It's an online shop, because it is. And so you need to think about that. Put yourself out there. Take that photo. Like, I think or just write something personal. So, so today, here's what we went through. And we went through why email marketing, fixing your sign-up form. Go action step today. Go and have a look at your sign-up form, see what it says, and fix it today. Thank you pages, really important part of engaging with people. Upgrading your welcome series, like putting some thought into it, because there's some really good uses for it to prompt action and to get people to buy faster, because that's what you want them to do. You want them to buy, do that first purchase quicker, and then let's get them ready for the second purchase as fast as we can, right? Had some bonus tips. So yeah, that's awesome. Me today. Thank you. And you can see the book, the one-to-one, down the bottom there. And are we going to do some Q&A?
Well, there's been a couple of questions in that Stu's getting the notes wrong from. Thank you, Greg. I've updated. I've got the link in the notes through. I haven't seen any other questions come through. I think you've been really, really thorough. I will say, if anyone's got any questions, fire them through chat now, through the comments now, and I'm staring at them. I've got a couple of questions for my email marketing, Glenn, and also on behalf of my clients. So you've talked a lot about e-commerce. So one question I've got is around services industries, the lawyers, accountants, professional service, marketing people. Templates with lots of images, or templates without lots of images, right? So there's a school of thought that says send an email like you're sending your email. So what do you see that works in services space?
Like, images can tell 1,000 words or whatever, but I think, like, think carefully about your images. Are they adding, or are they just there? Because if they're just there, don't have it. But if it's adding, if you can tell a lot more with the picture than you can with words, use the image. Because words sell. Words sell a lot more than generally than images, right? And so especially for those for services industry, like e-commerce, it's all about, you need to have a good look at the product. So images are very important. But in emails from those kind of companies, those professional services companies, words are more important, I think. So, like I showed you the accounting one, we think very carefully about the images that we put in there. They're not just there to, fill in a space. They're there to add to draw attention and add to the experience for the person reading it, because they take up a lot of space, right? So and you've got to scroll past them, so you're scrolling with your thumb. So the thing is that if you're taking up so much space there with a massive image that you may not need to have had just because the template had it. Totally. Do you know what? Also, text readers are very important these days, and they can't read images. They can if you've got an alt tag on them, which is a alternative tag for that image. So you've named it. When your images don't download, you'll see that alt tag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I know that's a bit of a long answer, but look, I've got a book here that I have with me. It's near and dear. This man here, Claude C. Hopkins, he wrote the book. He invented what he called scientific advertising, and I think that that's him and David Ogilvy. So this is way back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Humans have not changed, so I think words sell, right? So maybe the answer to that is images can say you can, what is that whole thing about 1,000 words? But the thing is that be picky about, do they add or do they detract? And if they detract, remove it and just have the words and use some nicely formatted text.
Yeah, I'm with you. I heard early in my marketing learning process, and I read that book and David Ogilvy's books as well. I think we've talked about it before. I learned a term which is constantly in my mind, which has unfortunately been ruined by a president recently. But the phrase is clarity trumps persuasion every single time, right? And the point behind that in relation to images is images are often used as a persuasion technique. It's the style and a safety mechanism. But if the images get in the way of clarity, if people can't see the words because they're on the mobile and there's images all over and they're going to scroll around to find it or up and down to find it, then you've lost them. You've lost them before they even understand what it is you're selling or asking them to do. So 100% with you. And, the other thing that I think you're promoting here is more frequency, less content. So rather than a 14-page email, which is the novel because you only just got round to do it, it's been months since you've sent your last email campaign. So you've got all the stuff you want to tell everyone. Well, we've moved our offices and we've done this. We've got Mary and we've got a new product range and we've completely revolutionized the business. So they're trying to cram it into that first email. Maybe a series of 5 emails, each with a single point, right? Just nurturing people through that.
Newsletter, I'm going to say controversial, I suppose, but to me, newsletters are dead. Like if you have to scroll like some really long newsletter, you've lost my attention, right? I think the shorter the better. So we have, it's a funny thing, but like you and I were talking about where newsletters came from, and they came from printed newsletters, right? And then people replicated those. You don't need to do that anymore. Just like short, clear writing that gets you through to the website, because that's what you want. You want that juice, or you want them to just reply to you and take action, right? So I think like send less more often is definitely the way to go.
And more about them, less about your product. Mate, thank you so much. I think we've used up everyone's time. It's been great. There's a big crowd online watching live, so thank you everyone. We're going to call it and let you all get on with your Thursday. I have put into the comments both Glenn's website, so have a look at spike.co.nz and go and subscribe to Glenn's newsletter or his email list or his thing. Oh, wait, we've got a question come through. Karen just caught us in time. How often would you recommend sending for an upmarket service such as luxury African safaris? So tourism.
Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, that's daily content on Instagram, and it's, I think, weekly or fortnightly content easy. Oh my gosh!
So much to talk about, right?
you've got so much content; it would just be insane, right? Like
how much fun would you have with the subject lines on that, right?
So much fun. Here's the mane of the week, and it's like, you know, this lion with his beautiful mane. You know, like you could have so much fun, and really short too. Short, actionable stuff takes them through to a beautiful image on your website. And because that to me is what's going to sell African safaris, right? Me imagining myself on the back of a Land Rover with an open top. I'm there. I'm already there, Karen. I'm on the back of the Land Rover. It's noisy. It's dusty. I can see some lions. There's African elephants. Like, you've got me there. You could do that.
I'm with you. There's so many components to that experience too, right? There's the getting in the plane. There's the being there. There's the cuisine. There's the meeting the people. There's the tour guides. There's the fact that you're not in the drudgery of winter. You're in this warm place. There's so much to talk about that you could do in small, punchy, regular emails. You know, the sequence, the new customer sequence would be gold as well too, right?
Getting people onto YouTube, like watching YouTube videos, like, you know, like at the beginning, like it was a bit of a faux pas, but having it because I'm doing a thing about video and email. But the thing about it is like, this would be amazing for that. Can you imagine like an email turns up every week? It's got an animated GIF which plays the first 5 seconds of a YouTube video that they click on and go and watch on your website. That would be incredible. So cool.
Totally. Easy. And I think the context of that whole, I mean, it's a really good example of customer context, right? Because people aren't in the market right now for any sort of overseas travel until they are. So you have to be super repetitive and be that front of mind next cab off the rank in their choices for where they decide to spend their disposable income when it's time for them to make the decision. So if you're not being frequent enough, you're going to fade away. If you're not going to be interesting enough, you're not right. They're just going to kind of switch off. So I think it's an awesome example of where email marketing is not only crucial. I think it's probably a game-changing opportunity for them.
Yeah,
thank you, Karen.
You should book a call with me, Karen. That'd be a fun conversation. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Any other questions? I can't see anything coming through. Thank you, Karen. Oh, she said yes. Images are so important. I think we all agree that. Look, Glenn Edley from Spike. Thank you for your time, buddy. Really, really appreciate it. We'll see you again next year. I'm going to do another one of these. I'm sure we'll talk about some of the other components of email marketing mastery that you can educate us on. And I hope that everyone who's watching this, either now, live, or in the future, are going to book that one-on-one call with you so that because Glenn has another, he hasn't mentioned it, but he's got another course coming up as well, which I highly recommend. And so book your one-on-one call, get on his email mailing list, win that game in 2023. Your competitors probably won't. It's a huge competitive advantage. It's why I'm putting email marketing at the front of most of my clients' to-do lists. So thank you, and see you next time, Glenn.
See ya. Ka kite, everyone. Bye-bye.